So yeah, this is my first real devlog because like the last video was just an explanation of what I'm working on. So yeah, I hope you have seen that one, so you actually know what I'm going on about. So I'm building this real-time strategy game. For now it's called ArcadeRTS, but I'll come up with something better later. Yeah, today we're doing multiplayer code. So I have this giant function which which governs AI behavior, like constructing units and the like. And I have chosen for my game the multiplayer networking model called peer-to-peer lockstep, which means you gather the input from the players first and then you execute the updates, so the changes to the game state. You do this for both players, so yeah. So it's like you gather the updates from the players, then you let the game run on for a bit, and then you start gathering input again, and then you just let the game run. So it's a bit of a stop start, but it's apparently it does prevent you from having to send too much across the wire, because if you have to send like 10,000 updates to positions and the like over your internet connection, then maybe not everything. Yeah, maybe something get lost, or or maybe it's just too much. In this game we're using a lot of units, and I want to do even more than I'm already getting, so that's why I chose this model over a client-server model, which sends the entire game state across with each loop. So yeah, I didn't have what I didn't have before was these commands, like these inputs by players or by AI needs to be translated into commands which can be sent across the wire or just used in the game if it's a local game. So I'm doing that now, like things like building units. At first there was just it just called this build at unit function and it directly built the unit. Now this it gets added to the command. To command, the parameters of the function also get added. And well, if I have all the commands, I go through the one at a time and I execute them. That's the idea. So yeah. This is the building of the construction unit by the AI, and it's what I just did. And here you can see the change. Here we're still using the build at unit function directly, and we're going to change that into a command. So instead of building the unit and returning false if it is not built, we check if we can build the unit. So and because we're not directly subtracting the money, because now when the unit actually gets built, something might have changed already, which means we cannot build it, so we don't subtract the money directly. We maintain this virtual pile of money to maintain the amount of money we expect to have as the AI. So in this case, I want to add the commands. Hey, my AI, my GitHub Copilot is already thinking for me, so that's interesting. Does it do it correctly? Yes, it does. I want to build a unit of type unit type, which is in this case randomly chosen. Of course, because of the peer-to-peer lockstep model, the randoms, the pseudo-random number sequences should also be the same for the player and the AI and the like. But that's not what I'm doing right now. For now, this is good. We're building this unit with this unit type for player 2, which is the AI player. Yeah, the last bit of this is actually not good, so I guess I'll refresh this. So they all have this last one, that seems alright. We don't need this comment, but we can actually just delete it. That's fine. Okay. This, the last bit of code of the old function we're going to delete, it would give the newly created unit a goal to walk towards, but yeah, like I think it will already get a default goal, and in any case we cannot really add a walking goal, a waypoint to a unit that does not exist yet. So yeah, that's something we'll need to think about. For now, we'll just delete it. With git, no code is actually deleted forever, so I can still look up the old code. Beginner programmers wouldn't know that, but experienced ones would. This check for game over is also unnecessary, because at this point the AI update has become a function, and I actually want it to return a value. Yes, the AI guesses that correctly as well. I see we forgot to build that unit here. We don't need this. So yeah, that's the AI. Now I'm going to try to integrate that. yeah, we assume here we're not in a yeah, so that's also something from GitHub Copilot. It's if you type a comment, like if we're not doing a multiplayer game, then we want to get the commands from the AI before we run the update. So yeah, it now guesses correctly what it needs to do to determine whether it's a multiplayer game or not. So yeah, that's cool. The second line though is not correct. So you still need to program a little bit, only a little bit. Yeah, where was it? Oh, something like that. Now let's see whether GitHub. No, GitHub doesn't know it yet. We can find it though. It's called Run AI Update. So now we can import it. And it's no longer red. Yeah. So we want do we want this to be none or do we don't want this to be an empty list? I think we want it to be none because sometimes in a multiplayer game the commands won't come. So yeah, now we have our commands from player 2. So I guess if we have our commands from player 2, then yeah, maybe we can get an entire list of commands, maybe. I'm not sure whether we can do that. Is that real or not? No, we don't want. We want to merge two lists, so Yeah, that looked better. No, it didn't. Yeah, that's good. Extend. I think that sounds a lot better. Let's see what this function does, shall we? Yeah. Now we have our merged commands list. And if we do not have the commands, unfortunately I want to quit. What is that again? I think it was this. Yeah, why not? So if we cannot get the commands from the second player, we'll just quit the game. Your connection is not good enough to play this game. So this is actually Dutch because I'm Dutch. So a lot of stuff is still in Dutch because I'm doing these videos now. I think I'll try to move that to English, but yeah, let's do that now. Control B. Then we have a rename. I'm still trying to learn these key bindings. Shift plus F6. F6. Yeah, this will be exit game. Yeah, so as you might have noticed, we're using Python. It's fairly easy to understand, but it has some performance downsides. I hope we'll be able to somehow mitigate the worst of it. I am having performance problems at the moment when playing against the AI. If there are too many units, it slows down. But that might just be due to my crappy way of working. Right now, all the units just go into a list, and yeah, that might be a little slow for collision detection. So at some point, I'll probably fix up a better algorithm. If it gets really bad, then I'll have to move to a terrible language like C or something. I wouldn't like that. I don't know much about C, and it's slow because it's not interpreted. Compiled languages take longer to build, and I don't like that interruption because I always get distracted. Yeah, so but maybe we'll just have to move some of the things to C, and some of the things can stay in Python. That wouldn't be a bad compromise. Yeah. So we have our commands. Now we still need to do something with it. Like this is fairly stupid because just delete this line, then we can get rid of this if statement. Yeah, the AI is being very unhelpful right now because it's producing gibberish. Yeah. So we now need to process all the commands. Yeah, it got that right. Now we need a new function to process the command. This will probably get its own file because, in fact, I don't think it needs to be in here at all. Let's make a new one. Yeah, I think this can be like this. I don't think I want this to be a class because it's essentially still just one function. And I delete these two lines and I paste them here. This should be a command. Like PyCharm is better if it gets some type hints, so I use them. So now we're going to look at the first thing of the command. I don't know. Maybe we can just be really dirty and just have it exec. There's a few possibilities, so I'll have to import them, but yeah. Yeah, the data cannot be done like this, but it's a start, I guess. So this should be at least be a separate string. Now, I don't really know how to do this. This is quite complicated. Something like this. I want a variable. Yeah, the AI is very good at guessing. maybe my code isn't very original after all, you know. So then we can call function, yeah. I guess we should have function is none somewhere. And we should probably actually import this. I don't like it if it adds these letters S or C because it's not necessary. That can cause a bit of a problem as well. Of course, the functions that it is calling do not really take this form of argument, so maybe I'll need to adjust that. But yeah, for now, looks decent, you know. So we're going to import this. Yeah. I still need to take a look at the different kind of commands that I have. Yeah, this is getting a bit long. I can understand that you don't watch me do this, don't want to watch me do this for half an hour. I mean, my last video barely had 10 seconds, but I hope it gives people some insight in my process. What I'll do next is I'll finish this processing of the commands, and after that you can see here it will handle the state, and then it does the rendering if it's not in a dedicated server mode, which I had to build because otherwise I cannot really test the multiplayer functionality unless I use 2 PCs. But yeah, my girlfriend is usually on the other one, so yeah, that you don't really need 2 PCs to test connections and the like. I mean, I guess I could also run 2 applications at the same time in graphical modes, but it does get a little bit complicated because my application right now just supports 1080p and nothing else, full screen. So yeah, I still need to do that as well, but it's kind of, you know, a little bit of an afterthought because a lot of systems use 1080p, and if you're like on a 4K monitor like I am right now, you don't really, you can also use 1080p, so it's kind of the standard, the lowest common denominator. Yeah, hope you found this interesting, and maybe I'll see you on the next video.